All right, let's dive into a real economic puzzle today. We're looking at Denmark, a country that, on paper really shouldn't be as successful as it is. It seems to break all the conventional rules. So, how in the world do they pull it off?
So here is the big question, right? The one that kind of breaks your brain if you think about it too much. How can this small country, with some of the heaviest taxes you'll find anywhere and basically no natural resources, no oil, no gas, none of that, be one of the wealthiest and happiest places on Earth? It shouldn't work. But it does.
And this really lays it all out. Everything you've probably heard about what makes a country rich, low taxes, tons of natural resources, an easy hire and fire culture. Well, Denmark just flips the script entirely. They thrive with the complete opposite. So what is going on here? What's their secret sauce? Okay, so the first piece of the puzzle, and this is a big one. It's not something you can find on a map or in a bank vault. It's an invisible asset, a force that holds their entire society together. An unbelievably high level of social trust. And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. Think about it. When you trust your neighbors, your government, your local businesses, everything just gets easier. It becomes more efficient. You don't need as many rules or complicated contracts. People are more willing to chip in for the common good, like paying those high taxes. It's like the secret lubricant for the whole economic end. And look, this isn't just some, warm and fuzzy feeling. We can actually measure this stuff. Denmark is consistently number one, at the very top, when it comes to low corruption and high social trust. Let that sink in. This isn't just a nice little detail. It's the absolute foundation. Everything else is built on top of this. So you might be asking, okay, trust is great, but how does that pay the bills? Well, that's where it gets really interesting. That trust is the key ingredient that allows their unique labor model to work. They call it flexicurity, and it's a pretty brilliant balancing act. So what the heck is flexicurity? Well, the name kind of gives it away, right? It's a mashup of flexibility and security. It's designed to give companies the flexibility they need, while at the same time giving employees the security they need. Now, I know what you're thinking. Those two things sound like total opposites. But stick with me, because this is where the magic happens. Here's how it breaks down. For companies, you get flexibility. They can hire people when business is booming and, let them go when times are tough, all without getting buried in red tape. This keeps them nimble. But, and this is a huge but, for the employees, you get security. If you lose your job, you get really strong unemployment benefits. And this is the crucial part. You get access to government-funded programs to retrain you for a new career. It turns a scary situation into an opportunity to adapt. Okay, so what do you do if your country doesn't have a bunch of oil or diamonds buried underground? You get creative. And boy, did Denmark get creative. They basically decided, fine, if we don't have natural resources, we'll just invent our own. Years ago, they looked around and said, okay, what do we have? And the answer was two things: smart, educated people, and a whole lot of wind. So they placed their bets. They poured money into education to create one of the most skilled workforces in the world, and they went all in on this wild idea of harnessing the wind for power. And this was not some overnight success story. Not at all. Look at this timeline. We're talking decades of patient, focused work. It started back in the 80s. They nurtured this tiny industry, and slowly but surely, it grew into a global powerhouse. They didn't just get lucky. They played the long game and created an entire industry out of thin air, literally. And the result? Just look at this. It's incredible. Denmark gets more than half of its electricity from wind and solar. That's more than double the average for the rest of the EU. So they didn't just get clean energy, they became the world leaders in the technology that produces it. All right, so we've got the pieces on the table, right? We've got this deep social trust, we've got this flexicurity thing, and we've got these big, smart investments in people and technology. Now let's put it all together and see how it solves that big paradox from the beginning. And here's the real secret. There is no one secret. It's not one thing. It's the whole recipe. It's how all these different ingredients, the trust, the labor model, the focus on skills and green tech, all work together, all supported by a tax system that people are willing to pay into because they can see the incredible results. And this is the beautiful part, how it all connects in a virtuous cycle. The high level of trust makes people willing to pay high taxes. Those taxes then fund that amazing social safety net. And that safety net is what makes everyone feel secure enough to be okay with the flexibility part of the flexicurity model. You see?
It's a perfect loop. Each piece of the puzzle supports the next one. So, in the end, it's not really a paradox, is it? It's a system, a really smart, carefully balanced, interconnected system. But that leaves us with the big final question, doesn't it? The Danish model is like a finely tuned engine built for its specific environment. But could you take those parts, especially that core ingredient of trust, and build a similar engine somewhere else? That's the real question, and something to chew on.